Hey everyone, welcome to the Blue Wave. I'm your host, Max Lopez. So, big night tonight. We have the third or fourth debate happening, but the difference this time is that it's down to just Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis in this debate. So, going to be a lot of airtime for these two specific candidates. And, okay, who has more to gain? Who has more to lose during this debate? And I'm just going to come right out and say it that Nikki Haley is the one who has the most to gain by having a really good performance here. And she also has the most to lose by floundering and by letting Ron DeSantis appear to be the stronger candidate. Because, well, this is why. I think that Ron DeSantis' campaign is pretty much already toast. And if we go and look over here at the Real Clear Politics averages, what you'll see is that DeSantis, we go back here to August of 2023, DeSantis 17, everybody else basically statistically irrelevant in terms of the Iowa caucus polling. But what we see here, sometime during September, middle of September, October, we see this red line, which is Nikki Haley going up and up and up and up and up, and DeSantis kind of plateauing, right? Not really gaining any supporters of Trump. Trump's not going down. So DeSantis isn't picking off any Trump supporters, and he's also not consolidating any support from any of the other candidates. So what do we see here? It's Nikki Haley. Oh my goodness. Now 16.6, she's in second place, and Ron DeSantis is in third place, according to Real Clear Politics averages. Now, this is a big deal because it wasn't so long ago that Ron DeSantis was the Republican darling, and it was seen as a very viable alternative to Donald Trump. Now, Haley has to prove to people that she has a fighting chance, and it's really going to come down to South Carolina, right? Her home state, where she needs to win South Carolina in order to have any sort of viable path to the nomination. And she probably needs to win New Hampshire and Iowa as well to really kind of give her a gust of wind into the larger, more just higher population states later on into the race and into Super Tuesday. Now, why is it important that Haley has to make herself appear like the real Trump alternative candidate? Well, it's because Ron DeSantis, okay, he has not done that. And he has not consolidated support. So Nikki Haley's rise has basically been, in my opinion, voters turning away from DeSantis. So who is Haley? What are her main policy points? What distinguishes herself from the leadership styles of DeSantis and Trump? What is her experience that distinguishes her from DeSantis and Trump? These are all things that I think that how she lays it out is going to really tell us how these early primaries are going to go, and if she has any sort of viable shot to take down Donald Trump at all. Personal opinion, I don't really think she does, and I don't really think that her whole heart is in trying to become the president of the United States of America. Okay, I think that she's basically campaigning to be swept up under Trump's wing if he was to be reelected as maybe a cabinet position or maybe a vice presidency or some other position. But if she is trying to win the presidency, right, which some of you may disagree with me that think that she is, this is a big night because she has to really show. She has to run up the score on DeSantis in Iowa, and she has to run up the score on Trump in South Carolina. Okay, New Hampshire is a little bit less important, I think, for her. I think that Iowa and South Carolina, she's really putting a lot of her eggs in those baskets, and South Carolina is going to be a huge moment for her if she was able to win that state decisively by, a large margin. So we haven't really had time with these candidates like we're going to have tonight, where we have, extended periods of hearing their policy uninterrupted, hearing them speak. Okay, these past debates with the presence of people like Vivek Ramaswamy, okay, it's just made these debates just totally just clown shows, okay? They have not been very good. The last one was the most watchable, and it was not really all that substantive. So I hope that CNN anchors, we have a substantive debate. We hear the distinctive differences between leadership of DeSantis and the leadership of Haley. And it's going to be interesting to see how far she goes in potentially hitting Donald Trump. Because if she doesn't hit Donald Trump whatsoever, or if she is really tepid or really not hitting him as hard as she should, this may kind of indicate the reasons that she is even campaigning in the first place. And it's going to be really, really hard to throw, for the anti-Trumpers to throw all of their support behind Haley because of how soft she's kind of been. And I think on Trump, that is. And I think that what this boils down to is there's still some kind of inkling of hope that Nikki Haley may be holding on to, that Donald Trump will be unable to serve his term in office if he's convicted of a crime. And maybe this is why, we're still hoping out for the law to do the dirty work that the Republican Party won't do. And there she is to sweep up all of the Trump supporters in like a general election or whatever against Biden. I mean, that could be the strategy, but I just don't think that's a winning strategy, because that's the same thing that Ron DeSantis, we've been hearing from his campaign and his sort of style of the way that he's gone about speaking about Trump and kind of blaming the media for wanting there to be a cat fight between the two, and just being really hands off with the front runner in the Republican primary. We've seen that strategy employed by DeSantis, and it's failed. So unless Nikki Haley doesn't want to be president of the United States of America, which maybe that's a possibility, right? Maybe she's running for some other reason. She really needs to distinguish herself from Trump and hit him hard, okay? Enough of this hands-off, hoping that, the Republicans are going to wake up and smell the coffee, and they're not. And in DeSantis and Haley's, in fairness to them, what they would argue is that, well, the Trumpers aren't even watching this debate, and they're not going to be convinced by anything. Okay, but you really need to start making a case as to why you should be at the top of the ticket to the whole Republican Party, right? Not just Trump supporters, not just non-Trump supporters, anybody that calls themselves a Republican. This is the time to be making your case as to why you should lead this country. And the hands-off approach that we've seen from different candidates towards the front runner kind of tells me that their campaigns are not really all that serious, and they're not really totally in it to win it. What other reasons would they be in it for? Hard to exactly say. Maybe a vice presidency position for Nikki Haley. Maybe a cabinet position for someone like Vivek Ramaswamy. But again, this is the time to do it, and we're going to see what she's got. Okay? And DeSantis, on the other hand, I don't think there's really much he can do. Okay? I think DeSantis' campaign has failed. Okay? I think that DeSantis had his strategy over the summer and at the turn of the year last year, that's really when he needed to be kind of changing up his strategy and trying some different things and to see if he can try to make a dent in Trump's lead. He didn't do anything. Okay, there's not anything that's gonna push DeSantis over the edge at this point. Okay, against Trump, there's just not. And so I think Nikki Haley, this is a much bigger chance for her, and she has much more potential to benefit electorally from this debate than DeSantis does, just because of how many missteps he's already made. We shouldn't be in this position. If DeSantis was a decent campaigner at all, had any kind of charisma, we wouldn't be in this position where DeSantis and Haley are neck and neck. We should never, ever be here. DeSantis should have locked up the anti-Trump support in the Republican Party by now, okay? But he didn't do that, and it's led to this debate potentially having an effect on Nikki Haley's standing in the Republican Party much more than it will Ron DeSantis's, and his political might in the Republican Party is after the Iowa caucuses is basically going to go whoo, and burst up into a bunch of flames, and then we're going to go on to New Hampshire, and that's going to basically be that for the guys. Is what I think. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace.